What's up, party people? This is Tarkus Jude Mosper here from Facebook, Jude's Junk, Facebook comic book shop, YouTube channel, now website. I'm getting all my products on my website, over 2,000 9.8s available for sale. I'm syncing them to my page and shop on Facebook. But I wanted to give you some insight on when to sell some books. Now, you might be a full-time dealer, and that means when to sell is anytime. Great. If you are a collector dealer, then sometimes you're buying, sometimes you're selling, and you're playing and you're having fun. One of the mistakes I made when I got back into comics after 45 years in 2021 is the FOMO bug. I would suggest start watching Comic Tom's and Comic Book Investments. I think his name is Dave. So Comic Tom, Comic Book Investments, they'll come out with weekly videos on books that are going up. Now, a little hint, Comic Tom's is on Key Collector, and Key Collector has 20 books instead of 10 if you subscribe. So it might be worth it to subscribe, although the price did just go up, and I don't think I resubscribed because it is pretty expensive. But that list comes out a few days before the video. And what I was doing, novice, FOMO, was getting sucked into the hype. And so a book would come up and say, hey, this book is going up on the video. And I'm thinking to myself, ooh, I'm watching the video. Now's the time to go get the book before it skyrockets, right? Because it's going up quickly. And so I'd go out and get that book. And I did that for, all the spec books on Marvel, and did that for the bigger books that were related to the Marvel, DC, and DCU movies and stuff. But what I've come to find is that was a bad way of thinking. So by the time they report their numbers, Key Collector, that's even before the video comes out 3 or 4 days. By the time they report their numbers, the week has already passed. It's like the stock market. Once things are going up, you've already missed the boat. So if you think because you're watching his video when it first comes out and you're getting a jump in the leg, you're not. They're reporting old data in Key Collector, and then someone's putting together a video and it's coming out 3 or 4 days later. So you're like a week and 4 days behind. And if there was a run up because of a movie, it's typically because a movie comes out. There's only 2 of those 9.8s available, for maybe a rarer book. And someone goes out and buys whatever they're selling for on eBay just because, I'm going to get this spec and I'm going to buy it. So that shoots up the price. What does it have to be? 3 high prices above the 12-month average to show the spike on Comic Tom's. So what happens is those 3, 4, 5 books that were on eBay, they get bought up quickly because someone is speculating. The problem is once the report comes out that it's going up, once Comic Tom's video comes out that it's coming up, everybody else starts putting their books online, and they want to beat the next guy so they can sell it and move it quickly. So that jump up, as soon as that video comes out, is going to go down. So I made the mistake of that video is going out to buy when I saw that video. Now, if you're a collector, here's my insight, collector/dealer, maybe full-time dealer. If you subscribe to Key Collector, if you're on Comic Book Investments, look at that as free advertising for your products. Everybody in the world that's watching those, look at this, 26,000 subscribers on Comic Book Investments. Comic Tom has more. That's free advertising for your products. As soon as that comes up here, make it a point every week, put your books up for sale. As soon as that video comes out, if you can get it beforehand, great, because you paid for the subscription, you would be ahead of the curve. But if you want to just wait until the free videos come out, put your books up for sale. This is not the time to go buy. That was my mistake. Don't fall into the FOMO. You're a dealer. This is a business. Let the FOMO affect the collectors. If you love this book, you can buy it back in 2 months when it's at a lower price. It's not like the old days. If you just look at the GPA sales data from 2000 to 2018, it's flat, right? Just like this. It's not all these, and then all of a sudden, 2019, 2020, blue, and then blue. So, you like those sound effects? So, what's happening with real-time data and more price guides, more auction houses than ever before, you're not seeing this long, steady, flat curve for 18 years. A lot of comic book collectors, that have been around for 20, 30, 40 years think we're going to go back to that steady. And I would say that's not correct. I think we're still going to do this. I think there's going to be a lot more speculation. I think as soon as Todd comes out with a signing, everybody buys what's on eBay, and they're higher than the previous sales, so it looks like there's a spike. But what happens is there's a created demand, a self-created demand by CGC putting out a CGC Signature Series events. Right now, I think Claremont or Bagley just came out with all the artists for Venom Lethal Protector, and we see the price going up. And if you're not familiar with signatures, if you don't care about signatures, you're just saying, oh, wow, it's getting popular. Maybe there's a movie, or, I see things that, even the guys at Comic Tom, when they're saying Incredible Hulk was going up, now they're saying it was due to Todd McFarlane, but at the time they weren't saying that. And it was going up, and they're like, oh, it's a spec, movie spec maybe. And I was like, no, it's not. It's because Todd just announced it, and he's going to close the windows soon. And so don't always think that they have some insight on why something's going up. The more involved you are in the industry, the more you'll be aware of why things are going up. But we're going to have these short-term greases and short-term and drops. You get 100 books thrown on eBay, like what's going on with Spider-Man 1, signed by Todd McFarlane at 9.8. The prices are dropping because they're being floated on eBay. There's only so many buyers that want to buy through eBay. A lot of us don't want to buy through eBay. We don't want the extra tax. We think we can get in another auction cheaper than eBay. And so that's going to give the impression that Spider-Man 1 signed is falling in price. And it's not. It's just supply and demand. And we're talking about short-term supply and demand, micro, not macroeconomics. Macro is the whole year, the whole country, but we're talking on a micro scale. These Spider-Man 1 signs are going to go down, but they're going to go back up eventually. And so you have to be careful. Do you want to get all your Spider-Man 1s? I think the last sale for a Spider-Man 1 was like $320 or something, and I just got mine back from Todd McFarlane, and I priced it at $500. That's what it's supposed to be around. I'm not going to sell it for $320. That's if people need to move to try to recuperate some of that money that they invest in those Todd books, God bless them. They're willing to sell it whatever they can get just to get some money back. And if you can't afford to play the game long term, then you got to play that short term game. But I'm going to price it at $500, and I'm going to enjoy. I only have one Spider-Man 1 signed left in my collection. I've gotten many over the last 5 years because the last Todd signed event, and they all eventually sold. And plus, I like to hold the books for my special buyers because they might just want that as a throw-in with some of their bigger books, just because it's nice to have and looks good. So I'm going to price it at $500 because I know the market is tanking right now. I just got on eBay, and they have auctions on there, and each day someone wins one of those, the auction price can be a little bit lower. So if you don't know the information behind the data, you're going to think, oh, it's falling in price. And most people can connect the dots. But a lot of people think it's falling in price long term, or people think it's going up in price long term. And I think you're going to see a lot of these big spikes, short-term spikes, because of supply and demand for the short term. Everybody needs to buy that book for that new signing event coming out in the next 2 weeks. We're going to buy whatever is online. And then you got the slow people that are putting it on eBay a little bit slower because they don't have time to pay attention to this stuff 24/7 like a lot of these dealers. It's a time-sensitive game. And so then eventually the market will get flooded on eBay, and that short-term game will go back down again. So being aware of this, what I'm suggesting to you, part-time traders, sellers, collectors, maybe even full-time dealers, have the mindset when it's getting hot and they're marketing your product for you on YouTube, Comic Toms and Comic Book Investments, put it on your calendar. As soon as that video comes out, reprice your books, put them up for sale online, wherever you do it. I don't care, website, social media, Facebook page, shop, website, whatever. That's when you want to put it up for sale. And this is like buying stocks. Yes, I love that book. I don't want to sell it. It doesn't matter. Sell it while everybody in the world's talking about it. Sell it for $400, and then in 3 weeks, buy it back for $400. Now if it's rare books, those are different. That's why I said Spider-Man 1 is moving quickly. You got the rarer books, I got some of those Marvel tales that Todd McFarlane did, all 9/8 signed by Todd. And in each of the ones I got, there's like 6 on the census, 5 on the census that are signed. Those aren't going to have those big spikes. Now, if they do show up on a video, I'm going to throw it up and sell it, and I'm getting free advertising. Very rarely do you see the free advertising for the rare books. You usually see them for the big name blue chip books, the hot books. Anyways, use these websites, Comic Book Investments, Comic Toms. Put it on your calendar. Those are the days to look through that list of 10 or 20, reprice your books, and put them up for sale. You can always go back and buy them in a month, 2 months, 3 months at a discounted rate after the hype is down. But don't get caught up in the FOMO. You're not going to miss out. You're not going to miss out. And if you do, so what? If you're taking advantage of the free marketing, and I missed out on an Absolute Batman #1. Oh well, I've already decided that I'm not going to play in that modern game after I got burned on the Spider-Man 7 first Spider-Boy. I got like 5 of those graded at 9/8 and then sent them off to get duplicate signatures and sketches, and I sold a couple, and one of the Bagley sketches was horrible, and I got left with one book in very good condition, good sketches. And that's great. It's one for my collection, and I'll hold on to it. And the other sketch was just horrid. But 3 of them I did sell. So I'm not going to get into that modern game. Some of you guys love the modern game and you want to play the modern game. All the more, because one of Comic Tom's is all about the moderns, and they show what's hot. And so if you have the Absolute Batmans and they're going up, sell them. I'm just saying, now if you want to grade them, now you're playing the game. Are you going to get the books back in time before the price drops? Are you sending them in to get graded the same time everybody else is, and by the time you get them back, they've dropped in value? That is the gamble. So you either sell it hot while it's raw, or you take the gamble and grade it, and hopefully you don't miss the hype. But if you're just doing this with 1 or 2 books, those decisions become much more important for you. But if you're doing this for hundreds of books, when these videos come out on what's hot, sell those books. That will be a full-time job. I cannot market that many books, I've found out. This is why I don't like small books, raw books. Even if you're doing Facebook Marketplace and sending them out to the groups, a lot of the groups will bust you for spamming. Facebook will bust you for spamming. You can't do a bunch of comic books. I've set a goal to send out 2 comic books on Marketplace and copy to my groups. Share it with the Facebook groups I'm involved in. 2 books a day. That's my goal. That takes some time too, if you do it the right way with pictures and you do the ad copy correctly, and then you got to store the ad copy, and then I got to use that ad copy to put in my website potentially, and or link it to. There's just too many moving parts now. Now I'm an online seller as opposed to a comic book collector, but I digress. Get rid of the books. Use those 2 days that those videos come out. Market your books. Get them online. Another reason is because these books are going up in value. So if you don't go in and price your books, like I just saw someone wanted to be stingy on a book. What was it? Masters of the Universe 4. I did a video about this. Someone was stingy. I had it for sale for $150, and because of the hype, it went up, and the last sale was $250. And so this guy wanted me to send it to Canada. I had it for sale, shipped within the States for $150, and he wanted it sent to Canada, which is an extra $20, and he only wanted to pay $150. And I looked into it, and I was going to ship it to him, but then I realized the price has gone up $100. So if you're going to reprice books, do that when these video comes out. A lot of you guys already know this. You're way ahead of the curve. But it's taken me time because I'm a half collector, half dealer, and I get confused and focus on different things. But use these videos to reprice your books, do these videos to market your books, and you go through 10 on each video. That's 20 books a week. You will be way ahead of the game. You will have tracked the biggest books trending. You will have updated them. You will have marketed them. And if you even sell, what is that, 10 books on each of these videos, that's 20. You sell, and I'm not talking about raw $3 books. I play in the world of, I'd rather sell books over 500, but I do $100, $200, $300 books. And, you know, if I sell 5, 6 books a week, 7, 10, that's a big week to sell 10 books, especially if you're talking about the numbers I'm at. So I don't know if I've ever told anyone the revenue I bring in, and I probably won't do it here because I don't need to share my dirty laundry. But tracking these videos, updating the prices, redoing the marketing, that would be a full-time gig. I'm sorry, that would be a nice full part-time gig. If you have anything else, family, other businesses, jobs, whatever, that's going to keep you busy. So don't use those videos to fall into FOMO to go out and buy them. That is the one, you're using up your time the wrong way. This was a mistake I made. You're using up your time to try to find out what's hot. Then go out and look for that and look at a bunch of auctions and use GPA and then search, you know, a bunch of different websites for that book because you like it. All that time that you're spending to try to get that book at a good deal could be used to sell the books that they're doing the free marketing for you. And that book will come up later at a lower price. That's what I believe the market is going to hold. Even if the overall market continues to go up, we're still going to see this, right? You know, auction, buy it now, auction, buy it now, auction, buy it now. That's what I've noticed, you know. Auctions are always the lower prices. And people always say, well, I want to pay whatever the last sale was or the lowest price. And that's great. Spend the hours it takes to get those deals on the auction, you know. And if you're not willing to spend the hours, then you're probably not going to get that price. Now, can you shoot for it? Sure. Are there some sellers that don't really understand the full supply and demand side of comics, that don't really understand fair market values, and they just want to sell it for a low price to move it? God bless them. Do it, you know. Get it out of there. But focus those 2 days a week with those 2 videos, reprice, market, and I think that will be an easy tool rather than just have piles of books. Well, these are all my Spider-Mans and these are all my signed books. And I do that because these are books coming back from CGC. You know, I have to reprice all these. These have been sitting here months. And it gets daunting. And then you get behind and you buy more than you sell. And you're like, oh my gosh, I got to reprice and market and do the ad copy and put those all on websites. And it gets overwhelming. So I'm over here messing around with these books that I got at a deal 9 months ago, putting them up online, instead of spending my time on the hot books that everybody wants right now, which they're in my collection. So anyways, this is kind of a love letter to myself. I made all these mistakes. If it helps you, great. Don't fall for FOMO. Use it as free marketing and sell those books. Move those books, baby. Happy hunting.